All right. Good evening. Let's see who we got here. How you doing, Jefferson?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm
Good. I'm
doing,
trying to shake that feeling that I've got to sneeze. I hate that. For like the last 30 seconds, I felt it there. And I heard this thing that when you feel that, you should like look up at the ceiling. And I don't know, it's supposed to go away. I don't know if I believe that.
yeah, I don't know if I believe that, but what
I don't know where I heard that.
the best solution is just to get it out and sneeze.
Yeah, really.
There's someone. Jim's Landscaping LLC #1 is here. How are you, Jim? Dale's going to join us in a little bit. He called me and fortunately woke me up from my nap like 10 minutes ago. I was like, hey, I'm going to be a little late. I was like, oh, I'm glad you woke me up.
Yeah.
I got up early this morning.
Yeah, that's worse. Getting woken up from a nap. You feel like you don't know what day it is or where you're at.
I'm usually hungry when I wake up from a nap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is no exception. I was hungry. But what are you going to do? Okay, so since there's almost no one here, let's play a little bit of this. Since we're going to talk a little bit about Star Trek.
Okay.
A little bit of this.
There was a lot of news for Star Trek at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and a lot of interesting stuff that came out of there. Extended clip for the new season of Strange New Worlds, preview for Section 31 movie, and for Lower Decks. So, lots to talk about from there.
All right, let's take a look here. Let's play a little bit here.
All right.
I was able to jury-rig the Kirkovian serum that turned human Spock back into a Vulcan. Should be able to do the same for us, only in reverse.
The sensory change is brief. The feeling is instantaneous. I will guide you through the sensation until you are acclimated, which should not take long. Physical adjustments follow soon after. I would suggest a deep breath. By the time you reach 3, it should be over. 1, 2, 3.
The emotions feel overwhelming.
Oh, I cannot handle this.
You don't feel anything?
No. And to be honest, I'm a little jealous. That looks like fun.
This feeling is unusual.
My perception has increased. Everything I once found dull now seems to be fascinating.
Oh, poop.
I wonder if the serum did not work on you because you're lanthanite.
Honestly, I had the same problem with LSD in the 1960s and the 1990s and last July.
Since Kelley cannot become Vulcan, I can cover her part of the mission.
I suppose I can direct you from the bridge. 5 Vulcans should be more than enough down there.
4 1/2.
Spock is only half Vulcan, whereas the 4 of us
Are fully Vulcan. Is that not logical? Spock.
Indeed, it is.
All right. That's and there we go. There's okay.
I watched the whole scene, and there's the humor that they do with Strange New Worlds. It's really funny because a lot of times it's like so kind of the straight man humor. You know, they don't play it like they are doing it for the intention of wanting laughs like Lower Decks does.
Right.
The way the Strange New Worlds does it is very much just in my opinion, the way you do humor.
Yeah. It's all right. Listen, I'm always open, and I love Strange New Worlds, so we'll see what it is. Let's also take a look at the teaser for Section 31.
Yeah.
Which is
I'd like to see that one again.
All right, let's
An emperor can only be loyal to duty. Thus does the empire remain strong. Thus does it grow.
All hail the Emperor!
Philippa Giorgio, you're a tyrant who murdered her own people by the millions. The past always catches up with you.
You're Section 31.
Okay, ladies, now let's get information.
31 is a Black Ops division. Spy work. Starfleet is here to make sure no one commits murder.
What a cute idea.
Prove to me you got some coordination.
It's gonna be bumpy and bad.
You're a bad bitch.
We can't trust you with our lives, but here we go.
Somebody's got to keep it lively, right?
Okay, ladies, now let's get information.
Okay.
You know, I've got mixed feelings about the movie. I think in general, going with a streaming movie is a good way to go for Star Trek, because it's just trying to put out Hollywood blockbusters. It works here and there, but Star Trek, I just don't feel that it's something that is a movie theater tentpole. And streaming has certainly shown that it's a good way to go for films. And the first feeling that I had the first time I watched that trailer was I feel like, and it could be wrong, could just be that I'm too old, but I feel like this is an example of Star Trek trying to relate to a younger, more hip audience. I mean, I'm not an old timer. I didn't watch TOS when it originally aired. I'm going to be 47 in September, so I'm not that long in the tooth. But the one thing I just kept saying to myself was, I don't know, this trailer really feels like, and I also don't want to be one of those, this isn't Star Trek. This is not a Star Trek preview. But it just felt, something just didn't feel right about it, about the tone of it. It almost seemed like it was trying to be more than what it was.
More than
perhaps someone more eloquently. Right. Maybe someone more eloquent than I could say it better. It was just the music just didn't.
Right.
It's like, who are you trying to attract here? Hey, Dale, how you doing?
Pee-wee loves Dale.
Hey.
There's your boy.
Pee-wee.
Is that the dog's name, Pee-wee?
Yeah.
That's Pee-wee the dog. Oh, and then here's my current little superstar who recovered from being really, really sick. We were really worried. This is Pinot Grigio. What Pinot? There you go.
The wine kitty.
So,
cute
cat.
cat.
Dale, we just watched the Section 31 trailer. Did you watch it, or have you seen it?
Yeah. Surprisingly, it didn't suck.
Yeah, I guess with all these that we're seeing, the question is, do we each consider them Star Trek enough, right? I think that's kind of a question. Are they Star Trek to us, or are they slapping Star Trek on the name Star Trek and some premises on other things? But I mean, the thing in the beginning, it seems like the origin story of Giorgio as the Emperor. Pee-wee, stop raising hell over there. And that's
well. Good news, bad news is the bar's set pretty low with Discovery, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. Pee-wee, what are you doing?
I've got mixed feelings on it. I won't presume that I could sit here and define what Star Trek is or isn't. I always try to not be one of those, this isn't Star Trek, because if you're going to say something isn't something, then that would at least present the assumption that you know what it is, so that you can say what it isn't. I think it's very easy to say this isn't Star Trek or not my Star Trek. But then the challenge to those same people is, okay, well then what is Star Trek? To me, Star Trek isn't not TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, Prodigy, Lower Decks. Did I say Enterprise? I'm pretty sure I did. So all of that Star Trek, all of it is. Not going to say that Discovery isn't Star Trek. Not going to say that Strange New Worlds isn't Star Trek, or Lower Decks isn't Star Trek. The reason I don't do that is because I also couldn't sit here and give you a very good authority on the answer of what is Star Trek. I won't presume to define that.
It's more like, what is our Star Trek, right?
Right, correct.
What do we want for Star Trek?
But when Deep Space Nine first came out, man, you talk about something as far from conventional Star Trek as can be. However, it turned out to be one of the best of the Trek series, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so you have to give it a season, give it a shot. Even Discovery, they gave us Pike and Strange New Worlds, so I'll give them their credit due. It might not be exactly what I liked, but it did spin off some pretty good stuff.
This is a very good point here. This comment. I'm sorry, Alec. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that this is a very good point here. This comment by J-A-E. Jafum.
Pronounce it Jafum.
Okay, Jafum. Here I was trying to spell it. I couldn't even get through the first two letters. So Jafum. Ever since Section 31 became part of the canon, I always thought that some sort of series or movie on a secret operation by then would be entertaining. You're right. I think there's always been a story idea there for something related to Section 31. And I'm not saying that I'm not glad that they're not doing something with it. I'm glad that it's they're not trying to turn it into a multi-season series. It probably could. I mean, who knows? It may work. It's just I've got mixed feelings from the trailer, and maybe it's something as easy as the music. I don't know. I'm sure that there are some out there that are doing their magic, doing their redubs that will might have something on YouTube. I don't think Star Trek is important enough for people to put in the effort to redo music to stuff, but to me, that was just the one thing that sort of felt a little bit out of place to me.
Well, I think because maybe it's a movie and not a series. So, yeah, the music is going to be more original kind of stuff, Right. But I think the actors look great. And the dialogue I saw, the action was like, hey, this is actually better than I thought it would be. Right.
So I'm looking forward to it. I will give it its due chance, and I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to kid anyone and say I'm going to protest and not watch it. That's one thing that I will do is even if there's Star Trek out there that I don't like, which a lot of people know Lower Decks is it, I still watch it because if I'm going to talk about it or be on a podcast about it, I think what I shouldn't say is, I stopped watching after the first 3 episodes of the first season and I haven't watched it since. I'm like, okay, well, it kind of kills your legitimacy of your opinion when you haven't watched any of it. So, I'll still suffer through it. So at least I can have an informed opinion.
Yeah.
I watched Discovery to the bitter end, to the very last episode, and enjoyed parts of it. But some Trek's better than no Trek in my book. So
yes,
I'm not going to be a gatekeeper for anybody.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'll take that. I'm not saying I want no Star Trek.
Let's I'm going to share. John Eves had posted some images from Comic-Con. So now, so let's share. This is, if I'm understanding the following pictures, this is a large scale model of the Cerritos. I think it's done by Factory Entertainment. This is they're doing a bunch of these large scale ships. Let's see.
Is that a Lego model?
Oh, okay. No. He says here, it's a display model down in the Gaslamp District, which Paramount is a small tour of props and costumes from Star Trek and Doctor Who. Oh, okay. All right. What else? I guess that's what this is. This is a.
That's Mariner's costume. She got the sleeves rolled.
Yeah. And this is one. I guess this is probably the captain's chair from the Enterprise D recreation that they did. All right, this. That's the Phoenix. I'm guessing it's the same. It's a. See, now this is okay. So this is on this. This is Factory Entertainment here. So this is. I'm guessing they're coming out with large scale models. I mean, that's the kind of display.
It's a good looking model.
Let's see if there's any comments.
Yeah, if you like the E.
Yeah, I love the E. So this is, and in the background you can see the Enterprise G.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right, GEF. Right.
G. A lot of good quality on the model work there. And these are pictures from San Diego Comic-Con. Okay.
This is from San Diego Comic-Con. He's just all right. There you go. He didn't follow up with any other photos, so I don't know. Let's see. Let's. I wonder if Factory Entertainment. Let's see if they just. Let's see if they're. What? No, they don't have anything since June. So, yeah, I don't. That's about it. What else have you heard from San Diego Comic? I did not watch. Who did a review? The Trek Yards guys did a review of stuff from San Diego Comic Con. I don't know if you guys heard anything.
No, I didn't hear. Any of that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, there was a lower decks panel.
I did see the 5-minute Strange New Worlds video.
Yeah, we showed a bit of that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it looked cool. It looked cool.
Well, Strange New Worlds, they know how to do it. I'll give them that. Oh,
yeah, Terry Metalis is really good.
Yeah, he is. I know what I wanted to comment on. So apparently, there's going to be a live action Star Trek comedy. Now that is one right there that I will tell you if there's anything that I think definitely again. I can't say I'm ready to define what is Star Trek, but that one right there feels like it's ready to make me say, I don't think that is. I don't know what is this Star Trek as a comedy, having humorous moments is one thing. I don't know that I could see it working as a comedy. To me, that seems like a more of a stretch. And the example I'll cite there is there's good comedy, there's Star Trek 4 comedy, and there's bad comedy, Star Trek 5 comedy. There's a big difference. If you're not careful with it, then you can get into the Star Trek 5 / Lower Decks type quality, which just has you kind of rolling your eyes and checking your watch to see, is this over yet?
Yeah, I'm looking for. Yeah,
is that Starfleet Academy? Is that what you're talking about?
No, not Starfleet Academy. This is something else. This is some unnamed thing. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I hear you, and I saw that, and I was like, what? That okay. But I think the thing that Lower Decks and even Prodigy have done for us is they've certainly opened up our eyes to what can be Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so maybe that's I think with all this stuff, we've kind of got to be open-minded about it, right?
Sure, sure.
All right.
Let's push the envelope. Let's try to redefine this thing that we all feel like we can define.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to find anything about what's going on. What's going now. Star Trek Las Vegas is this coming week. Is that it? Are you familiar?
That's what I heard.
Let me look that up. I know that one is soon.
I think it's in August, yeah. So it should be.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, Star Trek Las Vegas is August 1st through 4th. So it is this weekend, going from Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so I know the guys from Trek Yards are going to be there. Sam flew over, and both of those guys are heading down there. So yeah, good. That should be fun. Good luck to those guys. Star Trek Las Vegas is always a lot of fun. So yeah, but I'm trying to find out what else may have happened. I know there was a panel, and Kurtzman was on the panel talking about things, and so it'll be interesting. Finding out more about. I've been paying a lot of attention to what's going on at Paramount, and the interesting thing is their new CEO, who comes over from NBC Universal. He is very interested in revitalizing their IP. So he's a big hawk about the IP and obviously Paramount owns very specific IPs. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Star Trek is one of the big ones. So it'll be interesting to see what their take on that is. So let's see. Oh, there's Frank Parker stopped by. Hey, Frank, good to see you.
There was also. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just introducing someone new here. Leon Vincent is new.
There's also some stuff about Starfleet Academy, which here's the biggest casting announcement that raised my eyebrow was Robert Picardo reprising his role as the Doctor. And okay, so I don't know. Are they going to try to say, well, in 700 years, 800 years after Voyager returned to the Alpha Quadrant, and even all that time, we still maintain the Doctor's program, or he's going to be, I don't see this as what would be the reason to have any scenes that take place after Voyager that isn't in the Discovery time frame. That was kind of a surprising cast announcement there.
Yeah, I agree.
I was underwhelmed by the announcement of Tig Notaro coming back as Jet Reno, because right there I figure, okay, well, that's going to be good for 1 or 2 episodes for the entire season, because she was built up as going to be a recurring regular character on Discovery, and we got a couple episodes.
I know. I was really disappointed because I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed her more than any other character in Discovery. I thought she was awesome. And
I think a little Tig goes a long way, though. And, her interactions with, what's the name of the scientist down there in the engineering?
Paul Stamets.
Yes. So they had great, but, you don't want that every episode.
Yeah.
So placing her, spacing her out, she's great. She carries the scene, no problem.
Yeah. Character played by, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Who plays Paul Stamets in Discovery? That's you guys are gonna make me have to look it up, aren't you? My brain just doesn't work anymore. It used to. I swear it did, but it doesn't anymore. Come on, somebody in the audience save me. Help me from having to pull up all this. Okay, fine, I'll do it myself.
Sorry, I had to let Pee-wee out.
Anthony Rapp. That's right.
Anthony Rapp. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with that. Overall, I'm intrigued by the cast announcements that they have for Starfleet Academy.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Because I think a lot of us question the premise of the series, and obviously there's a lot of disappointment that this is what they went with rather than Star Trek Legacy, which kind of had a built-in audience right off the bat.
It could still happen.
Clamoring for it. No one was clamoring for Starfleet Academy.
Right.
Well, I figured out how they're working the Doctor into it, though. So the Voyager episode where he was left in the Delta Quadrant, or a copy of him was left in the Delta Quadrant, and he was in like suspended animal or sleep mode or whatever for 700 years. And he woke up in this alien culture that thought that Voyager had, started a war. And anyway, at the end of the episode, it said that he was there as their great doctor for years and years. And then he left to go back to the Alpha Quadrant. So I wonder if that's him.
That could be. Yep. That could well be. That's a really good point. Because I don't remember the details there, but that sounds about right. Yeah. So that would be interesting. Anthony Rapp. Yeah. A little sidebar about Anthony Rapp. Crystal had, she was cleaning out all of her mom's stuff. Her mom passed away 2 years ago. So she was cleaning a lot of that stuff out, and, stuff goes to Goodwill and stuff goes to certain charities and stuff gets thrown out, whatever. She got a program for a play version of The King and I that was done in San Francisco. Like, I don't even remember that it was the 80s. And I actually saw that version of King and I with Yul Brynner in 1979 at Westbury Music Fair on Long Island in New York. And I've told the story before, Westbury Music Fair is theater in the round. And in theater in the round, the actors all come from behind the audience, down the aisles, onto the center stage. Dad had gotten us tickets. I got tickets to The King and I, and my brother got tickets to see George Carlin, which was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I will say, our jaws were aching. It was so funny. But anyway, so we're watching The King and I, and in the beginning of King and I, the main female character is doing some song routine, whatever, and then the King comes in, which back then was Yul Brynner, who loved Yul Brynner from The Magnificent Seven, right? I just was like, man. And Yul Brynner was kind of like Steve McQueen. He was like the epitome of cool back then. In the in the 60s, in the 60s especially. Yeah, he was the man. Anyway, so we're watching The King and I, and it's the girl's doing her number, and just as she's ending, you know how like if someone's standing right behind you, someone's standing behind you, even if you don't see them, like you get this feeling. So, and I had the end seat. I was like right on the aisle. And so I had the end seat and like someone's standing behind me. So I look up, I turn around like this, and it was Yul Brynner. And he was standing like right next to me, waiting to go in. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, that was really amazing.
You didn't ask for his autograph, did you?
Yeah. So because he is known for that play. He performed it again and in the movie version with, I think it was Mary Martin. But that's, that was one of the things that obviously he's known for The King and I, The Magnificent Seven, and playing is it Ramses in Ben-Hur? In the Ten Commandments, the Ten Commandments, he plays the Egyptian king. I think it's Ramses, whatever. Those are what Yul Brynner is known for.
And you left out his most notable. You left out his most notable role, Westworld, the gunfighter.
Westworld, where he plays his character from The Magnificent Seven. And actually, in the reboot of Westworld on HBO a couple of years ago, in the first season, when Jeffrey is it Jeffrey Clark? What's his name? Jeffrey, the black gentleman who plays Felix Leiter in the James Bond.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright.
Right, Jeffrey Wright, who's just such a magnificent actor. Anyway, he there's a scene where he goes like into the basement at the facility, and in the background you can see a mannequin done up as Yul Brynner, which is like that's like from Westworld, from Magnificent Seven. It's really awesome. But
I haven't seen Westworld. I'm probably gonna have to put that on my list.
The original is classic.
Not the original. I haven't seen either. Not the original
you gotta watch the original first. Watch the original first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Richard Benjamin and James Brolin. That is just so epic. And then the TV show was really good as well. It was really interesting. Leon is that's what Legacy was about, and they've passed on that.
It may still happen. They haven't said yes or no definitively, so I'm still hopeful that it may happen. There's
what happened in I didn't watch Discovery season whatever. And
5.
And Kovic is revealed to be Daniels. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that's really interesting. I always thought that was an interesting casting to bring him in, which worked for me. It totally worked for me. My King and I story. So to finish the King and I story,
that was a nice reveal.
In this program that we found, it was a San Francisco. It was when the touring company of The King and I went to San Francisco. I'm flipping through it, and Anthony Rapp was in the play as a kid. He was like one of the kids that the teacher was teaching. I was like, Anthony Rapp, and so I went to his IMDb, and sure enough, in his IMDb, it was when he was a kid. He was in. I was like, wow, that's wild.
Yeah. Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah. So. He was clearly a child actor. Okay. I don't know what else. Is there any other Star Trek news coming out of Las Vegas San Diego Comic-Con?
Let's see. There was a Strange New Worlds. We talked about that some. Didn't really get too much into Lower Decks. That was seems to be kind of the last the last thing that was talked about and brought up that we hadn't spent a whole lot of time on yet. I just watched the preview of that, the trailer for season 5, right before we started this live stream, and it was I don't know. It's just okay. Yeah, it was a trailer for Lower Decks. I don't have a lot of very high expectations for it.
You're pretty harsh on Lower Decks.
Yeah, I really wish I wasn't. It just doesn't really do a lot for me. Now I'm not gonna call myself a Lower Decks hater or anything like that. It's not my preference.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, listen. The thing about Star Trek is, at this point, with so many shows on the air, you get to pick and choose what you like. You don't have to like it all. That's okay. It's interesting because, if anything, and personal experience here is, I feel that Star Trek has been, and I honestly don't mean this in a negative way. I mean this in an observational way. Star Trek has been diluted for me. There's so much Star Trek now. I mean, it used to be there were 5 shows, and that was Star Trek, and it all, even Enterprise kind of, was part of the pantheon of Star Trek, and you could say, well, I liked Voyager less than I'm not so big on Enterprise, or whatever, Obviously, I grew up with TOS. That was my show. A lot of people, Jefferson, grew up with TNG. That's your show. Mm-hmm. Some of us, like Dale and I, are huge DS9 fans. Liked Voyager, didn't love it, but liked it. Right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, now Star Trek. Hey, buddy, what's up? Star Trek there's so much Star Trek, so it's like now I have to have an opinion on 10 shows. Or soon to be 11 shows. I mean, it's like, oh fuck. Well, no one's gonna like all of it, right?
True.
And so it's changed so much. This is really where I think Discovery has kind of poisoned the well, in that it's changed the way we look at canon, right?
Yeah.
And which I think it's a lot easier to fit Pike into our view, but I'm very happy having a multiversal view of Star Trek. It's like I'm okay with all of that stuff.
Well, even Enterprise, I didn't really, I really didn't get into it until seasons 3 and 4. I thought the first 2 seasons were just slow, just kind of dull, and so yeah, even then, there was a time where even the older Star Trek had its weak points.
Yeah, TOS had some very uneven seasons, but you had standout episodes in every season. And
by the way,
that's kind of the way I looked at Enterprise. They were world building, and they were doing touchstone episodes that harken, to TOS, and trying to stay in canon, as much as they could, and tell an interesting story. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I think you're going to find out, oh my gosh, we're going to have Starfleet NCIS and Starfleet JAG and Starfleet Medical. There's all these formative shows.
Right?
It's like crazy. Just slap a name on it.
Yeah, but
Discovery might even be like the Dallas of of Star Trek shows, with all the drama and stuff in it.
Yeah. By the way, has everyone seen Wolverine, Deadpool yet?
I saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night with my son.
I saw it yesterday with Crystal. No, you haven't seen it yet, Dale?
No, because no one invited me to go.
You usually go with Julie. Now I will say, we found a great new theater on the east side of Athens. The whole big seats, and with a full menu, like hot dogs, wings, hamburgers, right? And Crystal got a hot dog with fries, and the fries were fantastic. I had a pretzel, which was really good. Like we were like, wow, this is like our new theater right here. But without giving spoilers away, because I'm sure the people who are watching, some people have seen it, and some if you're in the comment section, no spoilers, but tell us if you've seen Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine yet. Just make a comment so we know who's seen it in the comments section. But I loved it. I thought I was like, oh, good, the Marvel universe is back. What did you think?
All my
Jeff?
friends that have seen it, none of them have had a bad review. Every review has been like, this is great. This is more like what they should be doing.
I went to very carefully not do any spoilers. I'm not the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan. I can only tolerate him in very low doses. There have been some things that he's done that were okay. I saw the first Deadpool, the second one, of course this one, and I think that there shouldn't be more. I feel like that the character has with it doesn't have the kind of longevity in the character, in my opinion, as say a character like Wolverine. That there's just so much mileage that you can get out of the character. After seeing it, I really felt like, okay, all right, I'm good. There should be no more Deadpool movies. This is it. Shit, this is as much Ryan Reynolds as I can tolerate. 3 movies worth. But one of the things that I saw on on a forum that I would have to say I'd certainly agree with, and it goes along with the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom for Avengers Doomsday, is and it's shown quite a lot in Deadpool and Wolverine. I think the multiverse is too much of a crutch now that can really take away from good writing, good storytelling, because you can take characters and regardless of what happens with the character in a movie, whatever impact the character has, and I'll use Avengers Endgame. And again, I'll try not to spoil that one, but there were some.
You can spoil it, because if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame by now,
okay, yeah, really? right. If you have not seen Endgame, jump out of the live stream for a couple minutes.
Yeah, because some of us have seen it a dozen times.
Yes. So with the multiverse and what they've done is you can take sacrifices like what Black Widow did to get for Clint to get the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
And of course for the sacrifice Tony Stark made. And you can take all of that and say, okay, yeah, that's great. But guess what? We'll just pluck this one from Earth 218 or pluck this one from Earth 98 or here or there, whatever. With Logan at the end of the movie, Logan. I mean, you talk about the end of a character done right. Okay, sure, great, but guess what? We have this Earth over here. We can just pull another one. We have them all over the place, and the risk you run is you can just replace the characters. Now you can say, well, we can have any actor play any character, play multiple ones.
Sure.
Leave us alone about Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. Chris Evans was Johnny Storm in the first 2 Fantastic Four movies. And he was Captain America. Nobody complained about that. And the thing is, though, is that the comics have set the precedent for all of this stuff. So,
right. Well, that's where the storyline of Tony Stark as Dr. Doom comes from. It comes from the comics. Mm-hmm. And they made that reveal. It's if you were a comic guy, you go, oh, they're doing that storyline, right? Just kind of listen. It's the same as with Winter Soldier. When they did Winter Soldier, you were like, oh, they're doing that storyline. Okay, I got it. So they're picking and choosing what they want. And Yeah, and
it's awfully convenient.
The multiverse can be. I mean, but listen, if you watch the first season of What If, that was a multiverse story, and and it worked well. I don't have a problem with it, really. I hear you that it can be a crutch, but Jesus, it's like, and all I will say, this isn't a spoiler. All the in jokes in Deadpool Wolverine about the Marvel universe were hysterical.
Yeah,
all the breaking of the fourth wall. I mean, you think he does it a lot in the first two movies? Holy crap! That is a constant running joke in this one, but which is what kind of sets it aside. And I think whereas they brought the Avengers kind of into this movie, the Avengers played in this movie without there being any Avengers. I don't think the reverse is going to be true. I don't think you're going to see Deadpool in any crossover, Marvel crossover or Avengers or anything like that. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to keep it as its own thing, in its own separate, not necessarily a separate universe, but in a separate storyline. I just don't think they're going to mix them, because I don't think that it mixes well.
Right, you're right. It doesn't mix well the other way. It's kind of a one-way thing, and I get it that it can be done right. Sure, they've certainly when you get Spider-Man, what was the most recent one? Was it Far From Home, No Way Home, New Home? The one with the other Spider-Man from
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, that one.
And that was brilliant.
That was done well.
That was so well. I mean, I love watching that. So all the stuff between the three Spider-Mans is hysterical.
It can be done right. It certainly can be. And sure, you can do stuff like having Tony Stark that ended up being Doctor Doom in another world. I get it. Sure. It's just, this whole we can do whatever we want with the multiverse kind of thing. I really think that they should try to get away from that. Like, all right, pick and choose what you want out of having a multiverse, and then let's get rid of it, because that's not something that you just leave open as a crutch. If you want to bring back Robert Downey Jr. some way, somehow, you want to bring back Chris Evans or Scarlett Johansson, you want to bring back Black Panther again, but obviously with a different actor. Okay, mine the multiverse the way you want it. Bring it back to, I guess, the sacred timeline is Earth 616. Why it's not Earth 1 or whatever? Is that
I know, right?
Okay, get what you want, get your cake and eat it, and then close off the crutch.
Which is
Be
kind
done
of
with
where
it.
the story I thought it was going to go to is, okay, how do they reconnect all the universes so there's just a sacred timeline? But what that ultimately means is destroying all these new universes, right? And which is kind of what that, anyway, I don't want to give it away. So I think we're going to continue to see that that they play off the multiverse. I think your point is just don't abuse that. Like, and something like, I'm looking forward to the new Captain America movie. Something like that that has nothing to do with the multiverse, right? Because even if you have a multiverse, it doesn't mean you can't just keep telling stories on your main universe for 95% of the time.
And see, that's the problem. The problem with the multiverse is the fact that with Captain America: New World Order, you can follow the comic storyline of Sam becoming the new Captain America, which they're doing. That's great, but it also means that if they wanted to, they could have plucked another Steve Rogers from somewhere else just to have Chris Evans play Captain America again.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is it's because it's available as a crutch that I think really runs the risk of you've got to close this off, because now you start getting your audience feeling like your sacrifices and your stories aren't really going to stick and land because you can pluck somebody from another reality and then, you know, go about your way. That's all I'm saying is, okay, it's there, you've got it, you use it some. Let's really talk about shutting it off, closing that off. Otherwise, I feel like it's going to dilute the whole thing. I mean, getting RDJ is already a pivot. It's
because he didn't want to do anymore.
No,
he didn't want to do anymore. And Chris Evans didn't want to do anymore.
That wasn't the plan. The whole plan was the Kang Dynasty and all that. And then, you know, Jonathan Majors got himself in hot water, and they really can't continue that. So they're having to be agile and pivot. But the thing is that after Endgame, Marvel assumed, and I think pretty safely, that we would watch anything that had the name Marvel attached to it.
Right.
And there was just stuff getting thrown everywhere. Like, here's all this Marvel stuff, and you'll watch all of it. We're going to have these movies. We're going to have this stuff on Disney Plus. You're going to watch it all, and you're going to like it. We'll put up anything we want. And it felt like the audience started kind of pushing back, like, okay, and actually, no, we're not going to just watch anything that says Marvel on it. And now they're digging back into, okay, well, what made us good? Here we go. Let's bring back some of the classic actors, because it's felt like it was such a mess after Endgame.
Well, I was talking to, I said something to Crystal. I said, really, do we need an Agatha Harkness? Do we need a show about her? No. I don't care how much. And I mean, Crystal's like, well, I love that actress. Yeah, well, that's fine. That's not why you do a show. I mean, I don't give a shit about that character. And I think that's the kind of thinking. It's like, well, she needs a show. Why does she need a show? Just because she was a good supporting character in Scarlet Witch and what do they call it? Laser Vision. What was the name of that?
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a show about her. And, when they start planning out, well, here's the next 5 years of Marvel. And you look and you go, no, okay, no, yes, no, right? It's like, whereas when they were doing that in phases 1 through 5, you were like, yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were like, Guardians of the Galaxy? All right, I'll give it to them. Let them try. And then it was awesome. Or even Ant-Man, like the first 2 Ant-Mans were great,
right?
Were really surprising, right? Like, oh wow, Paul Rudd really can carry this, So they were surprising. But now it's like, you have Quantumania was a bust, and then you had Marvels was a bust, and then
why did I have to watch She-Hulk and the Immortals and Madam Web?
Well, like what was up with the who thought Eternals was a great idea? It's like, I guess it's Kevin Feige. He's, he's not perfect. He's making mistakes.
Right.
And, after Endgame, you were basically 2 and 3 after Endgame. I mean, Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, both wins.
Yeah.
But you also had Marvels, Eternals, and Quantumania. So you were 2 and 3. That ain't great in movie making. Hollywood is such a cesspool of talentless hacks that 2 and 3 is probably pretty good. But if you're gonna maintain your, I'm sure Kevin Feige is not happy, because that's tarnishing his reputation as a miracle worker.
You're messing around with your win-loss ratio.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
Well, do they not do fan focus groups anymore to, like, hey guys, you're going off the rails here. This is not what we.
They don't care about the fans.
I would think the fan focus. Yeah.
You'd think they'd do some kind of focus group, and if they would listen to them, but suits listening to each other in a vacuum is what's killed Paramount. And it's like, oh, this is a great idea. It is a great idea. What do you think? Oh, it's a great idea. Doctor. They're all just blowing smoke up each other's ass when anyone from outside looks in and goes, dude, who thought of that? Because that's like mentally ill thinking. Like, there's no way anybody wants that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys are right. In the comments, there were definitely some good product that came out after Endgame. It's just that there was phases
too much
1 through. There was two, there was
They
phases
tried
1
to
through
expand
5.
too much.
Exactly.
And listen, you have people all saying, "Oh, they became woke." That is not what the problem was. And it just pisses me off because saying, "Oh, where they became woke," that the problem with that is not only does it show me your stupidity, it shows me that you're not paying attention to what the problem is. It's like Discovery. Discovery's problem isn't that it is woke. Its problem is it was poorly written and conceived. That's what, and the first 2 seasons rewrote Klingons and awful production design. And you gave us a character no one gave a shit about, Michael Burnham. And you're like, really? She's Spock's sister? Really? We're going to go that route again? There were so many problems. It wasn't that it was woke. And
That old stale chestnut? Okay.
Yeah, it was great. And it wasn't that Marvel went woke. That's bullshit. Eternals isn't woke. Eternals is just not a really good movie. It's like, it's like, okay. I can't say it's bad, right? I just can't say it's a great Marvel movie. It's, it doesn't hit you like, oh, I got to go see Eternals, right? When did a Marvel movie come out before Endgame where you didn't go, oh, I got to go see that? Every Marvel movie, I saw every single Marvel movie in the theaters up until Eternals. I never saw Eternals, because right off the bat, I'm like, Eternals, what? And so that was the problem. And then they gave us like Marvel's, when Ms. Marvel, when the TV show came on, I was like, okay, I'll watch that. And I watched it and I was amused. I was like, okay, not made for me, right? It's about a young, Southeast Asian girl whose parents are from Southeast Asia, and she's okay. That a lot of things not appealing to me directly. That doesn't mean I can't appreciate the entertainment value of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that was fun. So when they went to do, and Captain Marvel was a really good movie. The first one was really well done, but the second one was like it was just the reason it was bad is not because it was 3 women. That's not the reason it was bad. It was the writing was bad and the production kind of went off the rails. So I think hopefully, what they're trying to do is get back to the things that make them successful. Right. And that's let's focus. And certainly the whole Jonathan Major thing is a slap in their face and really forcing them to rethink. Listen, as long as the Russo brothers are part of the mix, I feel confident things are going to go in the right direction, right?
Yep.
So we'll see. As long as they really start going, okay, what makes us good? What makes us great? And let's do more of what makes us great. A lesson that Disney still hasn't learned.
Who's thinking that a 3rd reboot of Fantastic Four was a great idea?
No, they're going to keep doing it. It doesn't even matter. They're going to keep doing it.
It's with a new cast every time. I'm like,
new cast, keep doing it.
Well, this time they're bringing it into the MCU. So yeah. I kind of got to say, okay, I'm going to give you it. You bring it into the MCU, and my understanding is that's a multiverse story. They're not part of the universe. They come from another universe where could be. That's that whole line from Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness is like Fantastic Four. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? That is so. I'm going to give them that. And listen, they got to bring the whole, the whole DC universe. I'm sorry, the whole X-Men universe into the MCU now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which is kind of, when you think about it, Jefferson, that kind of is what Deadpool versus Deadpool and Wolverine was about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of is about that. So we'll see. Leon Vincent HK, Colin Farrell as a Penguin. Yeah, that guy's going to win an Emmy Award. I'm going to tell you, he did pretty Eternal. Okay, how does Brian? What Eternals and John Carter? Okay, explain that one to me. By the way, John Carter of Mars was a really good movie. There's all these reasons. There are literally books being written about it, about why it failed. But you go back and watch it. It was a pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. 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 Just thoughts studies. Multiverse has been overdone. It's like any fad that comes along and has its time. Everyone does their story version of it. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So on and so forth. I agree.
It's like a crutch for lazy writing.
Yeah, it can be a crutch for lazy writing, but it also is always fodder for great imaginative storytelling in science fiction and comics, right?
Well, that's what the what if. I like that what if title, you know.
Right. Oh yeah, the what if stuff is great. I watched the new what if stuff. That stuff is just freaking awesome.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, you just think that they should be sitting down and looking at whatever their 5-year plan is and going, do we really need that movie in there? Do we really need that TV series in there? I mean, they've got like, do we need a young
cut
Avengers?
back on the meth that the studios had?
Yeah. Do we really need a Young Avengers, right? That's what, they're setting up the Young Avengers. Do we need that? Is that, I mean, are you playing for a younger audience? Is that the idea? Like Young Avengers sounds like a TV series to me.
It does.
Oh yeah, like the Teen Titans.
And I'd be cool with that. Like, right. I kind of think like the TV series, they've got to tone them down. They can't be spending $200 million on it, or whatever they're spending on these TV series. They got to tone them down a little bit. But I think that's where you really play Young Avengers. That's where I still wouldn't do Agnes, whatever her name is. I still wouldn't do that. But that's where maybe you go, is Thunderbolts going to be a big movie? Okay, maybe. It sounds like Suicide Squad to me. I think they just need to think about what needs to go where. And by the way, at some point they're going to have to recast Black Panther.
Right.
And I think, which again, I don't know how they do that, but they need to, unless they just decide that Sherry's going to be the Black Panther from now on. But that didn't work out so well last time. That's another movie that's another post Endgame movie that didn't work out, right? Black Panther.
Right.
You can just hear the guy saying, well, it was woke. It's Black Panther. I mean, what are you going to say?
Well, it just shows you what a great actor he was.
Oh, the first Black Panther movie was amazing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The first Black Panther movie was brilliant.
Actor.
And he was so good. I mean, he was in that stratosphere of casting like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he was one of those guys that it was like you can't see anyone else doing that role.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they've opened up their own door to have Michael B. Jordan cast as Black Panther. It's like, go ahead and do it. You've given yourself your own out. You know that you've set up a precedent to do that.
Big
so
redemption
just go on
story.
and do it.
There's a big redemption arc there for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not? But they've given it to Shuri. Okay, I don't want to. You kind of don't want to take it away from Shuri now, but
right.
I just want to see Marvel make better decisions about. Listen, just like Star Wars, like really, did we? We got a lot of. There's a Acolyte, and now they're coming. What's the other one? The one where the kids are in the are they stranded in another galaxy or something? What's that?
Oh, I forget what that one is.
Yeah, the one with Jude Law is in that one, right?
Yes, I know.
You know what I'm talking.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name of it.
Yeah. It's like, and I don't know if Dave Filoni is making those big.
It just needs a Jedi Academy.
Skeleton Crew. There you go.
Skeleton Crew. Thank you.
You got it. Sentai Ranger Nani. Thank you.
Yeah. Skeleton. Right. You wonder who's making the decisions on what they need to produce? Kathy Kennedy, she's still making those decisions because we know her track record ain't great. I'm not a hater. I'm just kind of like calling balls and strikes here, Kathy. The whole debacle on the sequel trilogy is laying straight at your feet. So I don't know. I'd like someone going, okay, we're going to make, here's what we're doing in Star Wars. We're going to have, we're going to be telling 3 big picture stories. One's about what happens after the sequels. One's going to be about the High Republic. One's going to be about what happens, leading up to A New Hope. Something like that. Whatever. Okay. And in those 3, we're going to do this. Great, because that's kind of the thinking that got them to Andor, right? Don't you think so?
Mm-hmm. Andor was great.
Brilliant. Andor is brilliantly conceived.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just brilliantly executed. The whoever it was that was sitting around going, okay, here's the story we're going to tell. We're going to tell the story of Cassian Andor, but it's really going to be the story of the beginnings of the Resistance.
Wow. When it fits neatly into the thing, it doesn't change anything. It just fits right in there perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd like to know that there's someone having those kind. Because who felt like The Acolyte was a story that needed to be told?
Probably not.
Right? Was that a story that we really, really needed? No. Whereas you may not have been thrilled with Obi-Wan or Kenobi. What was the name of that series?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that was a great series.
You may not have been thrilled with that. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it told an important story.
Yep.
That we needed. Book of Boba Fett was a big miss, except when they were dealing with the Mandalorian.
Right.
But Mandalorian, outstanding. So who conceived that show? And what was the thought process that went into the conception that here's the story we want to tell? The Mandalorian is the first big story, whatever. So I just want to know that there's someone in charge at Marvel, Kevin Feige, that's making those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's making the decisions about, all right, here's the stories we need to tell.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So Dale, you need to go out and watch and go see Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, go see it. It's good.
It is.
I don't know. We'll give everyone about a week, and then we're going to start spoiling it.
Yes, I think that's certainly fair.
Yeah, exactly. So you got a week, guys. Go out and see it at least once, right? At least. So what else you got for us? You need to, Jefferson. You need to run.
Yeah, I do need to run. Kids are waiting on me.
No, that's good. We're over our time here. And we had we started out slow. Got a good little group coming. A lot of the regulars. Leon Vincent HK is new, and boy, you have really ripped it up in the comments section, Leon. So you are
thanks, Leon.
Certainly welcome back. And we had a few other new guys, and no one asked about Axanar, which we're going to say, okay, that was good.
Shit, we forgot to talk about Axanar.
That's fine with me. Fine with me.
Is it finally going to be released?
Damn you, Dale.
No, we're going to drag it out another 10 years.
Hey, that's job security for me.
All right, everyone. Listen, it's great. We had a good time. Thank you, everyone. Jefferson, thank you for being here. And,
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And hanging out. Everyone in the comments section, thank you guys for coming. And we will be back on Wednesday, I guess, for Trek After Dark. And everyone have a good time. There's lots of content coming from us, and make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. And if you're not already, subscribe to this channel, hit the notifications icon so you get all the notifications from here. All right. PB says goodbye. We say goodbye. We'll see you guys here. Well, come by Wednesday for a Trek After Dark. All right. All right, guys.
Yep. All right. Bye, everyone. Live long and
Cheers.
prosper.
Cheers.